All right, hello and welcome. Grab your aprons, people, because today we are heading straight into the project management kitchen. We're going to cook up a storm and turn the often scary challenge of risk management into a simple and, dare I say, delicious recipe for success. I mean, we've all been there, right? You kick things off with the best intentions or really beautiful vision, and then somehow it just ends up as a complete mess on the plate, a proper dog's dinner. Well, today, we're learning the head chef's secret technique to make sure that never, ever happens again. Okay, let's get into it. The official recipe, straight from the Project Management Institute's cookbook, is called Perform Qualitative Risk Analysis. Now, this is the go-to method for most chefs, project managers, because it's quick, it's effective, and it helps you prioritize without needing a mountain of complicated data. It's our secret weapon to ensure our projects have a firm foundation and absolutely no soggy bottoms. So, Section 1. Every great dish, doesn't matter if it's a simple Victoria sponge or, a super complex project, it all starts with a reliable recipe. And this is our game plan for handling the heat in the kitchen. And the main kitchen utensil we're going to be using is the probability and impact matrix. Seriously, think of this thing as your perfectly calibrated oven. It's the tool that tells you exactly what needs your attention right now and what can just, simmer away on the back burner. All right, let's head over to the prep station. In any pro kitchen, the very first step is what they call mise en place. It's just a fancy way of saying get all your ingredients prepped and ready to go. And guess what? It's exactly the same in project management. So, these documents here, these are our core ingredients. Your risk register, think of that as your list of all the potential kitchen nightmares, like a power cut or, God forbid, running out of eggs. The risk management plan is your May recipe book, and your project documents are like your fresh produce. And that last one, organizational process assets, that's just the kitchen's library of past recipes and all the wisdom from the chefs who came before you. We need all this ready before we even think about turning on the heat. And look, here is a non-negotiable rule. It's the first rule of the kitchen. You can't just chuck a handful of something into a delicate cake and expect it to turn out right, can you? We need precision, and that's why we define our risks using a crystal clear cause-event-effect format. It's as crucial as measuring your flour to the gram. Okay, ingredients are prepped. Now we've got to make sure our equipment is actually accurate. This is all about calibration. We have to be sure our kitchen scales are spot on, that our oven temperature is perfect, otherwise the whole thing can just fall completely flat. So let's start with probability. We have to ask ourselves, right, how likely is our soufflé to collapse? This scale here helps us move from a vague, oh, maybe, to a really defined rating, all the way from very low to very high. It gives us all a consistent language to talk about likelihood. And then, of course, there's the other side of the coin, impact. So if the soufflé does collapse, just how big is the mess going to be? Are we talking about a little crack or a catastrophic explosion of egg and sugar all over the new kitchen floor? This scale helps us nail down those consequences for our project in real terms, like cost, schedule, and scope. Right, our scales are calibrated. Time to get out the main piece of kit. This is our baking tin, the grid where we're going to combine everything and see how it all bakes together. And here she is, in all her glory, the probability and impact matrix. It's simple, really. We plot probability down the side and impact across the top. And just like that, this grid instantly shows us what's just a minor spill we can wipe up later versus, a full-blown kitchen fire that needs immediate action. The color coding makes it absolutely foolproof. Okay, so the kitchen's prepped, the oven's hot. Now it's time to actually assess our risks and get them ready for plating. This is where we follow the main method in our recipe. And here's the step-by-step. It's dead simple. First, you take a risk from your register. Then, you estimate its probability. After that, you estimate its impact. You calculate the score to get its priority, pop it on the matrix, and then, and this is absolutely crucial, you update your master recipe, the risk register. See? It's a simple, logical process you can use again and again. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's see how this thing actually works in practice. Let's plate up a couple of examples, shall we? I want you to imagine we're the project managers for a very important bake, say the Queen's Jubilee cake. So, our first potential problem. We've heard some whispers that our main flour supplier, a company we'll affectionately call Dodgy & Sons, is on some pretty shaky ground. Now, if they go bust, we've got no flour. And no flour, well, no cake. It's that simple. Okay, so we rate the probability as high. Let's give it a 4. And the impact? Also high, another 4. And 4 times 4 is, of course, 16. Now, on our matrix, that score puts it firmly in the red zone. This is a high priority risk. If this happens, it's all gone a bit pear-shaped and we need a backup plan right now. All right, next up, a new regulation comes out from the palace about using heraldic symbols on cakes. It means we have to change our icing design. Look, it's annoying, it's going to take a bit of extra time, but it's not a catastrophe. It's just a bit of a faff, really.
So we rate the probability as medium, maybe a 3, and the impact also as medium, another 3. That gives us a score of 9, and that lands it squarely in our amber, medium priority zone. It's not a showstopper, but it's something we definitely need to keep a close eye on.
But hang on, remember, not all risks are bad news. The palace archivist happens to find the secret award-winning sponge recipe from the last royal wedding. Now this is an opportunity. It's a positive risk that we could totally take advantage of. Now, the probability of us actually getting to use it might be a bit low, let's say a 2, because there might be all sorts of permissions needed. But the positive impact? Oh, that would be very high, a 5 for sure. That gives us a score of 10. So this makes it a medium priority opportunity, and we need a plan to make sure we can actually seize it.
And voila, here is our finished dish, beautifully plated up on the matrix. You can see at a single glance that risk 1, our dodgy supplier, is up there in the top right, basically screaming for attention. Risk 2 is just simmering away there in the middle, and that fantastic opportunity is right there ready for us to grab. The key thing to take away from all of this is this. The real output of this entire process is an updated risk register. That document is no longer just a boring list, it is now your perfected recipe card, telling you exactly what to watch, what to action, and what to embrace.
And there you have it, the secret recipe for managing risk. So I guess the only question left is, now that your project kitchen is perfectly in order, which fire are you gonna put out first? Which opportunity will you seize? And what absolute masterpiece are you gonna create? Happy cooking!